What is up, guys? Zan from the Zan Madden YouTube channel. And to be effective on offense in Madden, no matter what year it is, you have to be able to manipulate the user defender in a variety of different manners. So today's video is going to show you guys a tip that hardly anybody is using out there in the competitive space that will allow you to manipulate a user no matter where they are on the field. So if your opponent is using the right linebacker, you'll be able to do a specific setup to get at them. If they are on the left linebacker, you'll be able to utilize a setup to get to them as well, simply by using an audible trick. Now, before we get into the tip, if you guys could do me a favor, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Also take time to hit that notification bell and drop a comment below to help push this video out in the YouTube algorithm. So I am a major proponent of flip streaks this year. You guys have seen me do content on flip streaks for beating coverages downfield with wide receivers, in which we flip a formation or audible from one formation to another and then put a player on a streak while he is behind the line of scrimmage between the tackles. But did you know you guys are going to be able to do this trick as well with the running back for the purpose of getting into holes in zone coverage, or maybe manipulating a user defender in the middle of the field? So let's go ahead and show kind of how this works. We're going to call a formation in which the running back is on one side of the quarterback. It doesn't matter. And we're going to audible into a formation in which he goes to the other side. So right here, take a look. I'm going to be tight Y off. And then we have this other formation, tight Y off weak. This is a great candidate for this simple audible trick because only one player is motioning. You're going to be able to do this audible very quickly. And then once we come out, let's talk about, say for instance, our opponent is using the right linebacker. And we want to kind of get at that user, but also maybe put them in conflict with a crossing route or some other route that is going to make them kind of drop back in the middle of the field. If you guys recall, when we audible or flip our formation, we have the ability to place our running back on a streak right away, which is going to put him on the streak to the other side, meaning that basically, when the command goes in to put him on the streak, if he's on the right side of the quarterback, his streak will release to the right before cutting up the field. This is pretty major because, as you might know, there's a pretty prominent corner route meta that exists out there in which players know that they have to respect certain routes to certain sides of the field. So let's say, for instance, we got this streak corner combo in which our opponent knows, oh, hey, I've got to guard Rashid Rice. So maybe they're going to jump out to the deep right side of the field. We'll mimic this by placing Carmichael in man coverage. The cool thing about this particular trick is that if you know they've got to go user the deep right or the deep left, we can use this flip streak trick for the purpose of getting at the user. So once we snap the ball, you're going to see that the running back is going to release right and then up the seam, which is going to give us basically a down pass lead in the middle of the field. Now, I would recommend that you clear out that area of the field specifically for the running back. Don't try to run other routes into the area like I did there, but the concept is tried and true. Now, the cool thing about this as well is that if they're using the other player, you have the ability to obviously just simply audible from one formation into the other, or flip, doesn't matter, and then put the running back on a streak on the other side. Now, this is no different than if you hot route a streak regularly in a shotgun-based offense, but this is going to help you guys out big time because, as you might imagine, if we want to run a crossing route off of the left side over the top, and the user is going to have to kind of sync with that in the middle of the field, again, we'll mimic this by putting the user, Warner, into man coverage on the crossing route. Once we snap the ball, you're going to see that he's kind of following him, and then this little pass lead out of the backfield is obviously very key. With a lot of the deep out KOs on the deeper sideline of the field, this is going to be a weapon that you guys should be utilizing a fair amount. Now, if you guys are struggling with the deep out KO defensive meta, I would highly suggest you guys head over to gridirongameplans.gg, where I have dedicated basically the last 2 months in the vault to off-meta coverage setups and hot route tricks just like this that are going to help you guys move the ball in ways that a lot of pro players and competitive players are not used to seeing. And if you guys can confuse those players, obviously the players that mimic the meta are going to struggle with you as well. The vault is focused on the meta, or the most effective tactics available in Madden, not only how they work, but how to counter them in manners like this. You guys can unlock well over 170 vault videos so far in this year and counting, plus 9 offensive and defensive game plans and members only Discord access where we have lab sessions every single week. For just $9.95, head over to gridirongameplans.gg/subscribe. The link is below in the description. So So naturally, let's go ahead and apply this into a more widely used meta. I was just talking about how we can kind of utilize vault tips from Gridiron to attack the meta. Let's put that into practice right here. One of the most prominent defenses that you guys will see out there is going to be the $3-2 for the purpose of the A gap meta. And the play that most players out there are running right now is a cover 3 based defense where they're going to put their deep out KOs basically into those sideline zones. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to mimic that. I'm going to put in a few players just to kind of show you what this looks like. I'll put Bland, who has deep out KO. We'll put Randy Moss there on the sideline. And they're going to call this basically as a cover 3 with a couple players manned up. Oftentimes those are going to be wide receivers or tight ends, not usually expecting the running back to beat them vertically out of the backfield. So we call this free safety zone blitz 3. We'll set up kind of the coverage meta that most players are running, which is basically just to pinch their defense. They're going to mug for the A gap, and then they're basically going to play kind of, a cover 3. They might zone drop it. They might leave zone drops off. A lot of players are going to man up this safety on random players. Sometimes they'll put them in hooks or things like that. And then they kind of sit in the middle of the field. But the takeaway from this is that this is a one hook defense, meaning there's one middle defender in this particular setup. The user has to guard a lot. So let's go ahead and use that particular trick that I just showed you by audibling from this tight Y off to the tight Y off weak, and maybe utilizing this flip streak trick. So I'm going to audible into any play, doesn't matter, and immediately put the running back on a streak. So he is attacking the right shallow area of the field. Now let's go ahead and run this route combo in which we have basically a crossing route that the user is going to have to worry about, the streak down the sideline to pull the outside third plus the man coverage defender on that player running the streak, and then whatever you want to do with the rest of the defense. I will go ahead here and just put guys in the flats. This would basically give me the ability to dump it down if they blitz those slot quarters in this meta, and then all that's left to do is pick up the blitz. Once the ball is snapped, obviously with one hook in the middle of the field, this is going to be an area of the field that they're not expecting to get beat, is the running back down the right seam. So you're going to be able to utilize this pretty effectively. Let me show you another example of a formation you guys could very easily do this trick with. And here is the gun tight open, which is the focus of my Kansas City Chiefs game plan. Again, with this particular defense, we have the ability to kind of set up a flip streak trick or, do a variety of different things. But again, with this, we're just going to flip the formation and I can put the running back on a streak to the left or the right. The cool thing about this as well is that obviously with this particular concept, a lot of times you are going to be in a spot as a defender against this where you don't know whether the running back is releasing down the left seam or the right seam. And that's problematic. So what we're going to do here, again, something pretty similar. We could go ahead and run a crossing route to A. We'll go ahead and put B on a fade. We can do whatever we want, drag this player right here, kind of, again, just do whatever you want with this. Again, with the user kind of bailing on this, you're going to end up in a spot where you're going to have the ability to kind of dump this to the running back. So we snap the ball, the user's kind of drop in the middle of the field, and then boom, we hit the running back right as he hits up the seam, make a juke. And you see that this could be pay dirt with a couple of missed tackles. But that is today's video, guys. Utilizing this flip streak running back to kind of exploit the right seam or the left seam, kind of create a little bit of a problem for the user. Another great thing about this, if it's man coverage, we know how to jetpack and rocket catch this. That is also found in my Kansas City Chiefs game plan as well. Check it out in the game plan section of Gridiron Game Plans. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys tomorrow with our next long form video update, or later this afternoon with our next YouTube short. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.